Hi YouTubers, thank you for watching. This is the first time that I'm actually going live, and I'm in the car. We're waiting for my wife who's doing some shopping right now. We're getting ready to go to a party. It's my boy in the back. He's bored. He doesn't want to have anything to do with this, do you? Say hi. Bye. He said bye. Well, listen, I'm thinking of you guys as we are getting closer to Christmas Day, Christmas Eve. I know that a lot of you have a big challenge ahead of you, especially if you're dealing with some narcissistically abusive family members, brothers, sisters, siblings, right? I'm not even getting into talking about spouses or things like that, because it's rough. It can be really rough. But what I want to talk to you about right now is just the ability to set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries, guys. Boundaries is a huge thing, and I really believe that we have a difficult time setting boundaries because we have the wrong idea of what boundaries is. We look at boundaries as being able to say hi. No, not hi. We look at boundaries as being able to say, you know, stay away. Stop calling me names. Stop talking to me like this. This is what we think boundaries are. We think boundaries are telling other people how to treat us. And that's not what boundaries are, guys. Boundaries are being able to look at yourself. No narcs allowed. I love it. Hey, this is pretty cool, guys. I get some comments right there. Boundaries is being able to establish where you're going to be, right? What you're going to do. Boundaries is looking only at yourself, guys. That's it. Boundaries is saying, you know what? Listen, thank you for the invitation this weekend, but I'm not going to be able to make it because you have something else to do. That's setting boundaries. But really, it's not because you have something else to do. It's because you know that it's an abusive situation. All right? It's my boy. He's screaming. So when it comes to what's going on this Christmas Eve or this Christmas Day, you know, whatever it is that hey, Merry Christmas to you too, Vanessa. Thank you. When it comes to this Christmas Eve and this Christmas, boundaries is being able to just establish where you're going to be, where you're going to go, how long you're going to be there for. If you're dealing with a narcissistic mother or a narcissistic father or a narcissistic brother or sister, you just need to be able to limit your time or not go at all. You know, that's just the way it is. Sometimes we feel like we have to. We're stuck in a world of have to. I have to be here. I have to do this. I have to do that. There's something special in being able to slow down. And I want to tell you right now, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to. It's a lie. The have-tos, most of the have-tos are lies. That's it. Merry Christmas to you too. I appreciate that, Vivian. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm talking to those of you who are struggling right now because you're not quite sure what you're going to do this Christmas Eve or this Christmas. It was a big deal for me. It was a very difficult thing for me. I ended up spending many years being around some narcissistically abusive people because I felt like I had to. Mainly, it dealt with in-laws. Now, those of you who aren't married yet, you don't know what it's like dealing with in-laws, but one day you might. And when you do something because you love somebody else and you are doing it just for them and you're doing it for the other people, you're putting yourself in a position of not being able to set healthy boundaries. You're doing stuff for other people. I got myself in that situation an awful lot. An awful lot. No contact with toxic vampires. No contact. That's a perfect point. No contact means you set the boundaries for yourself. That means you're able to say no. No, thank you. So when you're invited to this party or you're invited to go hang out with this group of friends and you know that there's narcissistically abusive people there, people who are smearing your name, people who are talking saying bad things about you, you say, no, I'm not going to go. Let them talk in your absence. Narcissistically abusive people are going to talk about you either way. They'll talk about you whether you go and visit with them or whether you don't. So the reality is it's better just to let them talk about you without you there, because then you don't have to deal with it. You don't have to put up with the looks. You don't have to get caught in that game. You just don't. And really, it is a game. It is a game, guys. one of the best feelings that I've experienced now, and I want to make a confession to you guys. I had not completely gone no contact with my in-laws. I stayed connected to them. In fact, I stayed connected to them on social media, which is the worst possible thing to do. The reason I did that is because I felt like, in a way, I had to. Because it's family, right? And I'm happy to confess to you that recently I've deleted all of them. And I've stayed true to going no contact by deleting them. I don't need to be to be connected to them in any way. Doesn't matter if it's family. It doesn't matter if it's abusive, it's abusive, right? You'll never know how important and how amazing and all the things that you are capable of doing until you go no contact. I read a message from a subscriber the other day who was telling me in his message that he has to live with his narcissistic mother because all the other bridges were burned. He's homeless. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know what to do. I told him this. Maybe you'll agree. Maybe you won't agree. I don't know. But I told this dude this. I said, listen, I would rather be in a homeless shelter. Because that's what he said. He said, it's either live at home with this narcissistic person or I'll be in a shelter. I said, I'd rather live in a shelter. I'd rather live in a shelter, and I'll tell you why. Because when you're in a shelter, homeless shelter, whatever, you're on your own. You're making your own way. You're creating your own path. Narcissistically abusive people cannot take anything from you that you create and make for yourself. But now if you choose to live with them with the excuse that you have nothing else, you're putting yourself and you're subjecting yourself to their power. Same thing with visiting them with Christmas Eve. If you have no other plans but to go and spend time with these people, then you're subjecting yourself to their power. But now if you take control and you say, listen, I'm making my own Christmas plans, and let me tell you something, even if it's on your own, even if it's by yourself, even if it's you sitting in your apartment with a fire lit and a glass of wine, talking to a friend or a homie or whatever, at least it's yours. It's your plan. Nobody can take that away. Right? In my case, it's different. I have kids. I have a wife, so I have more to spend time with. But listen, it hasn't been easy, guys. I've come across that situation of possibly living with family or living in a hotel. I want to share something with you. I chose the hotel. We were really bad for a while. We were, not doing well financially while we were living in California. California is a rough place to begin with, but we had family out there. And I chose, instead of living with family members, because I knew what they were about. I knew the gossip, I knew the slander, I knew the criticism, I knew the narcissistically abusive tendencies. I chose the hotel. It was just me and my family. We did it. And we made it. We got out of there, and now we have a house. So I encourage you guys, don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of the unknown, guys. I know it's fearful. Well, what am I going to do this Christmas? What am I going to do Christmas Eve? What if I'm alone? What if you are alone? You'll learn some amazing things being alone, guys. Being alone it's pretty incredible. It's humbling, but maybe you need that. Maybe you need that humbling down experience. Not humbling the way that narcissistically abusive people say. Narcissistically abusive people say, you need to humble down and listen to our call you names and this and that. No. Humble down by saying, no, I don't want to be around you guys. I need to spend some time alone. Right? That's powerful. And they can never take that away from you. What are they going to do? No, you have to come and visit us. You have to see us. No, I don't. You want to get narcissistically abusive people running? Make the decision that you don't have to be around them at all. Will it hurt them? Yes. Do narcissistically abusive people need to be hurt in that way? Yes. They're like kids. You need to take stuff away from them before they get it, before they learn. All right, guys. So, I don't know if I spoke to anybody out there right now. I don't know if I've encouraged anybody out there, but I hope so. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for subscribing. I look forward to making more videos. This is the first one I did live. So thank you. Take time to reflect on your own life values from Phil Smith. Yes, that's it. That's it. Take time, and it doesn't matter if it's Christmas, if it's New Year's, Christmas Eve. People are afraid of being alone. Let me tell you something. Do not be afraid to be alone. Is it scary? Yes. Listen, narcissistically abusive people, they like to tell us. They like to make it look like a bad thing, being alone. They like to tell you that, oh, you know, you're never going to be with somebody, or you're never going to, you know, mount to anything if your kids and with parents. They like to really make you feel bad for being alone. Can I tell you something right now? Being alone, guys, is powerful. Spend a Christmas Eve alone. Spend a Christmas morning alone. You're going to discover yourself. You're going to find out things about yourself. Part of the attachment to narcissistically abusive people is our own fear of being alone. I wish so badly that one dude that messaged me, I wish he would have called me. I wish he would have called me, because he said, you don't know what it's like. I'm living with my narcissistic mother. Okay, that's what he said. I'm living with my narcissistic mother, and she's burned all my bridges for me. And it's either that or living in a shelter. And I wish so bad I can talk to this guy on the phone, because I tell you, man, listen, I don't know how old you are, but if you're over 18, I would encourage you to go and live, you know, take the shelter, live in a hotel if you have to. Do whatever you have to do, but do it on your own. Because this is what narcissistically abused people can never take away from you, whatever you do on your own. They can't. Let them talk. Let them talk. I'll be alone this year, but I didn't think of it as humbling. I like that. That's it. There's nothing wrong with being alone. Being alone gave me the opportunity to look at my reality. It was horrible to see, but now I'm on the path to freedom. That's right. When you're able to accept being alone, things change. The whole, your view of the world changes, guys. You realize that you don't need the narcissistically abusive people in your life. It doesn't matter if it's a mother or a father or a spouse. You don't need them. You're better off alone. And here's another thing. You also view things like Christmas, like Easter, like you look at these for what they are, traditions. Nothing's mandatory in this life, guys. Why do we treat Christmas like it's a mandatory thing where we have to give to people? We have to spend time with mom. We have to see great grandma. No, you don't. Listen, if these people do not want to spend time with you or talk to you the rest of the year, why give them this one day? Why? Because it has the name Christmas? No. There's no need, right? There's no need. If anything, if you want to celebrate something on Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day, celebrate just, no, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Celebrate being with people who love you all year. Celebrate being with people who love you all the time. Give thanks back to the people who have helped you all year. That's what you need to spend your time doing. You know, take your power back. That's it. Yes, I'm live. This is the first time I'm live. I love hearing all you guys' comments too. Thank you. This is great. I wish that I can figure out now how to let some of those comments stay longer so I can read them all and make a comment on them. So cool. I can see that. I found you just yesterday. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Well, you know what? You're amazing. And you are on the right path to recovering. This is it. Just researching and looking at what's going on. And it's an amazing path to freedom once you start to realize that the narcissistically abusive people in your life, they don't even have to be there. Going no contact means learning about your own value. And sometimes learning about your own value means that you separate yourself and you risk being alone. You risk spending that special traditional holiday alone, guys. That's it. It's a risk, but you learn about yourself. Can I share one story with you guys, right? It's a biblical story I want to share with you. And I just want to share with you my interpretation of this story. All right? And I hope this is powerful, and I hope this changes some of your guys' lives right now, because it's a good story. It's the story of Joseph. Now, I'm sure that most people have heard about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Have you guys heard about Joseph? Joseph ended up being, Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat or whatever. Joseph ended up being the second most powerful man under Pharaoh, right? But let's talk about the story of what took place. Joseph, as a young boy, had brothers. Were the brothers narcissistically abusive? Did they only care about themselves? Absolutely yes. Joseph was just doing what other boys do. He was sharing his vision. Guys, guess what? I had a dream, and in this dream, man, people were bowing before me. Just like a kid. He was sharing a dream. And his brothers got pretty pissed off in a narcissistically abusive way, and they plotted, his brothers, his half-brothers, right, plotted to get rid of him because they didn't like how outgoing he was. They didn't like how special and unique he was. So they thought about all kinds of things. They said, let's kill him even. And one of the brothers said, no, let's not kill him. Let's get rid of him however we can. Is this not what your narcissistically abusive people tried to do? Let's get rid of this guy. He thinks he's special. Let's get rid of this girl. She thinks she's something else. Let's get rid of him. Right? And so what they did is they went and they threw him in a pit near where they lived. And now I'm going to skip the rest to the good stuff in the story. And what happens is that Joseph, obviously he was, as a young boy, he was taken out of the pit by some slave traders who took him to Egypt. The brothers went and told their dad that Joseph was killed and mauled and taken by an animal. But the reality was he was taken by some slave traders. He went to Egypt. Now here's the most interesting part of the story. You ready? Joseph was in prison in Egypt for how long, guys? 14 years. 14 years Joseph was in prison. Now, here's my take on this story. The reason Joseph was in prison for 14 years, guys, is because that's how long it took him to heal from the trauma of his brothers and what they did to him. His own family, who narcissistically, and I believe it was narcissistic abuse, narcissistically, abusively, without any remorse, wanted to get rid of him, wanted to put him down, right? And so he took 14 years. God wrestled with him. God wrestled with him. Don't think he was just sitting there. God was wrestling him as he was struggling with himself, as Joseph was saying, God, am I not worth anything? My brothers wanted to kill me. Is that all I'm worth? He wrestled for 14 years. It took Joseph, guys. But guess what? After that, God in the story elevated Joseph to a position of power. But here's the reason why he was in such a powerful position underneath Pharaoh. You ready for this? When the brothers and the family came back to him because they were dying, because they were starving, they went to get food from Joseph. Joseph recognized his brothers. And he did a little test on them to see if their heart had changed. Joseph asked for his one and only true younger brother to be left there with him, while his brothers didn't know it was Joseph. And the brothers said, no. We don't want to give him by himself. Please take us instead. That was Joseph's test to see where their hearts were. And they passed. One of the brothers said, no, please take me instead. Don't take this little brother, because he's the only one left of the same line of Joseph who we killed. We believe they believe they killed him, or they believe something bad happened to him. So anyways, Joseph undid his head and basically said, he took his, in Egypt they had the head, they had all the get up. And Joseph told his brothers, he said, hey, guys, it's me, Joseph. Now here's the important thing. Right? He said, don't worry. Don't worry. What you guys meant for evil, God meant for good. Okay? So I want you to take 3 things from this, all right? Joseph was thrown in a pit by his brothers. He was narcissistically, abusively damaged. It took 14 years for Joseph to wrestle with God, to find out who he was, until God was able to lift him up and say, you're going to be second in command under Pharaoh, the most powerful person in all of Egypt. And guys, this is the America of the day, right? When Joseph was in that position, he had to be so in such a place that he realized, oh my gosh, that narcissistic abuse that I went through was in order for me to be here. Listen, guys, I want to tell you something right now. The narcissistic abuse that's taken place in your life is so that it can move you from where you were to where you were about to be. And at some point, you're going to look at the narcissistically abusive person, the person that damaged you. If you're willing to move, and you're going to say, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. Right? You're going to be in a powerful place. Wait, I want to read that. I did it. I cut my parents out of my life. No contact for 6 months now. It took 48 years to do this. Time for holiday. Now I'm to blame for breaking up fam. No, you're not. You're not to blame. Let the narcissistically abusive people, let them have their anger fit. They need to experience that anger on their own. It has nothing to do with you. They're controlling, right? And they're reacting from losing you. That's all that's going on, but that's not your fault. It's not your fault. When they blame you, it's all a tool and a tactic to keep you stuck. That's it. You're not to blame for anything. That's right. James is absolutely right. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You are an amazing, beautiful person. Let them experience some time without you. Because what they're used to is saying it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. And they do that to keep you stuck where you are. How much more powerful would it be, guys, if you were to just say, no, I'm going to let you be mad. I'm going to ignore it. Go on and become the conqueror in this life that you're called to be. The next time you go back, listen, they're not going to be calling you names. Listen, when Joseph's brothers in that story went back, after he was second command in Egypt, do you think they were trying to plot to kill him? Nope, not at all. Why? Because one, he was second in command, and two, he was feeding them. Guys, they were eating off of Joseph's character. They were eating off of Joseph's character. So, and I heard that from Bishop T.D. Jakes. He's a great teacher. So guys, I just wanted to share that with you. 14 years it took Joseph. 14 years in prison. Right now, coming out of narcissistically abusive relationships, we are in a prison. Okay, this is what it feels like. And I want to share with you guys that this time of being in prison is okay. It feels like you're in prison. It feels like you're stuck. I want you to absorb that. This alone feeling. Absorb it. Just be with it. Be okay with it. Guys, your freedom and your healing is just on the other side of feeling alone. Because feeling alone for the first time is saying no and cutting yourself away from the narcissistically abusive people. Mom, dad, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. Spend some time alone. You rediscover who you are when you're alone. Right on, guys. When your parent is narcissist, the betrayal cuts so deep, man. I know. Listen, I have a narcissistic dad. I had an abusive stepdad. I get it. I get it. But when you as you grow, when you take the risk of being alone, you step out, you discover who you are. You're not who your dad says you are. You're not who your mom says you are. You know what? Listen, I want to bring up the Bible again because I love the Bible. But at a certain age in people's lives, they left their mom and dad. In fact, the Bible instructs you. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. At some point, you got to cut yourself off from your mom and dad, and you take whatever they gave you. Maybe they gave you just a bunch of crap throughout your life. You take that, but don't let it make you don't let it make you, right? Just take it and say, man, spend some time alone. Say, man, I wish my mom and my dad were something different. We all do, man. We all wish our mom and dad were something different. But I'll tell you what, when you discover who you are, you, talking to you, brother, you're not going to do that with your mom. You're not going to do that from your dad. Your mom and your dad, their time for telling you who you are is over. And they either did a great job or they failed horrifically. Right? But either way, you're watching this video right now. So something is inside of you, knowing what you're capable of and knowing what you're supposed to be doing. So go do it. But you got to cut yourself off from the abuse. You have to. That's and you have to be willing to take that risk and spend some time alone. God bless you. I hope you have an amazing Christmas too. The flying monkeys are just as bad as the narc. Flying monkeys suck. Listen, I want to talk about this. The flying monkeys, guys. So as I said earlier, I made a confession where I had to take certain in-laws off of Facebook, guys. I confessed that I had not truly gotten no contact. I kept people on Facebook because I felt I had to. All right. This includes flying monkeys. I just recently, this past week, deleted all of my in-laws. All of them. When it comes to the flying monkeys, I deleted everybody. You ready? I deleted everybody who was associated or who I met through my in-laws. I had to. And let me tell you, this was a hard decision. I'll tell you why. Because there's people who I met through my in-laws who were nice, who were loving, right? And I wrestled with it just like you guys are. I wrestled with saying, oh, these people treat me good. I shouldn't delete them. I had to. I had to. Let me tell you why. Even though they're sweet to me, even though they're nice to me, they are still connected to the narcissistically abusive people, which means that they will go behind my back, which narcissists do, and talk their crap. And I'll be caught up in some drama with them. So I had to get rid of the nice people too. Only the nice people who are connected with the narcissistically abusive people, because they are potentially flying monkeys. So what I'm left with on my social media now is just my close friends and family who I've known a lot longer than the narcissists, who I can tell at any time and say, hey, listen, if these people come around, they'll and try to friend you, I let them know, hey, don't listen to them. Now I'm the one that says, hey, be careful, you know, because there's some stuff being said. And listen, it took my Facebook down from like all this amount of people to this amount of people. But I'm okay with that because I'm down to true friends and family. All right. I'm being yelled at now, guys. From this guy back here. Say hi. You're on live, bud. All right, guys. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Something told me deep inside she was giving my parents' info to me. Wow, it happens. You have to go back to thinking for yourself. When you're talking about narcissists, they will convince the people you think you can trust them that you are the bad one. Exactly, man. Get rid of the narcissists from your social media. Don't be connected at all. Get rid of the flying monkey. So anybody that you've met when you were with them is potentially a flying monkey. Get rid of them too. Even if you think they're good friends, just block them out for a while. All right, guys. God bless. I look forward to making more videos. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll be back more with the Royal We. Merry Christmas to you and your family. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, guys. Thank you, all of you. All right. Later, bro. Later, Eddie. Thanks, man.